Walam, walama, walama. So we're just going to go into a little quick breakdown. And the question I want you to ask yourself is, how did the people get into the land before the Mashiach? Or if he did. But well, I'm going to show you that they did get into the land before the Mashiach. But the question is, how did they? Did it take a plane? Well, did the Mashiach come and get them? Did they ride bikes? Did they walk? Right? Or did they come in after the Mashiach? Okay, so and we know there's different gatherings, but concerning what we're going to go over real fast, just a quick question for yourself to ask yourself, right? So before we get started, we just want to be able to give our increasements to those who are going through the hurricanes in the Americas, and praying for everybody's family. And we hope that everyone, come together as one unit for our people. You see that the destruction is not meant for the Gentiles, in my opinion. What's happening is actually meant for the Bani Israel, the children of Israel in the Americas and across the world. So you have all kind of mayhems going that's from the heavens. And the scripture says, "Don't the earth until the 144th is sealed." So if the 144 are not sealed now, and we see what's going on in the earth, imagine how it's going to be once they're sealed, right? So we just want to send our increasements out to everybody and the families. And the only way out of this is to seek the master face in Zion. All right? We like to, first thing, the brothers from Zion would like to say, we pray for the families in Texas, throughout every city, our families and friends throughout the Americas who's about to go through the hurricane that's coming, and also for those who are homeless because of the hurricanes, and those of friends and family that we know and some of you may know. We're praying that you guys come together, and you can see that the Most High is actually hurting the earth in these last days. But most important, my personal belief is that what's happening in America after the blood moon is only meant for our people. And as in the time of Pharaoh and our people in Egypt, the curses spilled out. They were for us, but they start spilling out until the Egyptians or to the Gentiles. It's the same thing now. The curses are meant for us, and now the curses are overspilling to the nations. And just like Pharaoh at that particular time, he was like, you know what? Pick your things up and get up out of here. I'm tired. You got to go. Because your curses are spilling over to us. And so what you're seeing now is that not only our people are becoming victims, but also nations. Not as much as our people, but the land. And eventually, we're going to get out of here. So our time is short in these captivities, but and most important, you have to seek the Most High face. So now, the question I want you to ask yourself is, this quick breakdown is going to be short, and I want you to ask yourself, how did these people get into the land before the Hamashiach came? Whether you believe it's David, King David, or whether you believe it's Yeshua HaMashiach. How did it get into the land? And I'm going to prove to you there were a people there long before the Hamashiach came to the land. They were there long before. Okay, and they were there, and we're still under the curses. Now, nowadays in a lot of doctrines, which is not sound, most people believe that the Hamashiach is going to come off his throne and come and get them and bring them to the land. And it's going to be peace, but it's not like that. I'm going to show you that there's going to be destruction and there's going to be people there. I'm also going to prove, according to the Most High Word, that these people are going to be there in Zion, seeking the Most High face which is you guys are seeing now. So what we're doing is the beginning of that stage. I'm also going to prove that those who are going there, seeking the Most High face, and enduring that turmoil and hardship from their families or brothers or wherever, are going to be the one in the 5 places that's spoken about. It's the Valley of Azel, the Valley of Achor, Ariel, Carmel, and there's another one. Carmel and Sharon. But Baruch spoke of when he said that those who will be saved will be in the same self-quarters. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 12. We actually reading now the Hallelujah scriptures. Listen clearly and let's do it. All right, so we're going to start at Revelation 6 and 12. And what I want to show that, me personally, I do believe that this 6th seal is presenting itself within the earth. And then one of the reasons is you go into the scriptures, Revelation, it talks about the 6th veil was poured upon and you freed rivers and it was dried up. We know that's happened. You know what I mean? So a lot of people say, well, I haven't seen this, and so it's like this. Either the scriptures are off or that person is off. And so where I'm at in my studies, I believe that the scriptures is right and the people are off. And this is something that we or maybe that person don't understand. So let's go and look at Revelation 6 and 12. Go ahead.
Revelation 6 and 12. And I looked when he had opened the 6th seal and saw a great earthquake came to be. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. And the moon became as blood.
All right, let's start right there. So now, most people say, well, I haven't seen an earthquake. You know what I mean? I haven't felt an earthquake. But when you look in history, who says that had to happen right back to back? Because that's what we're reading. Because we're reading this, most people think that this happened back to back. This happened straight back to back. That's not necessarily the case. It's just showing you things or events that's going to take place in the earth. But one thing we do know, there has been great earthquakes. Matter of fact, there was an earthquake that hit so hard that it sped up time. Everybody go look at about several years ago, one of the Asian countries. But they said it sped up time, okay, when that happened. But then it says that the sun was black as sackcloth of hair and the moon was like blood. So we understand that only way the sun can be black is eclipse. So we have many eclipses within the last 100 years, or a few eclipses within the last 100 years. You understand? And me personally, it doesn't necessarily mean that the 6th trumpet just blew last year. The 6th trumpet could have blew 10, 15 years ago. The veil could have been open 10, 15 years ago. Okay? And then it talks about the blood moons, right? So the scripture we see this in the scripture, but most of us, we're looking for this because we've so been religionfied, that's a new word I made up, that we look for everything to happen simultaneously. Does that make sense? When the scripture speaks of that the stars, the moon, and the sun will be signs in heaven. Keep going, read.
Verse 13. And the stars of the heavens fell to the earth, as a fig tree drops its unripe figs, being shaken by a strong wind.
Right, come on, read.
And the heavens departed like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place.
So now we're looking at this. This hasn't happened. This is my personal belief. This hasn't happened yet. We're going to read from verse 12. By the time we get to verse 17, you're talking about different times and different areas in our area. Okay? So Revelation 12, I believe, is happening right now. Revelation 6 and 12, I believe, is happening right now. Revelation 6 and 13, I think that's that's coming. Revelation 6 and 14. So as we move on, by the time we get to verse 17, you're going to see that the Mashiach has appeared. But what I want to show you is that all the scriptures, we're going to put all the scriptures together, and it's going to paint us a perfect picture of this exactly. Keep going, read.
15. And the sovereigns of the earth, and the great ones, and the rich ones, and the commanders, and the mighty hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains.
See that? So now we can move something forward. Let's keep going, read.
And said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him sitting on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Read 17.
Because the great day of his wrath has come, and who was able to stand?
So who's going to be there on the day of the mighty return? Who's going to be there? So let's go look at this same scripture that John stated, and let's go to Zephaniah where you got it from. Let's go to Zephaniah, I think that's chapter 1 and 14. And the question again, how did these people get here? Because now we just looked at Revelation 6 and 12 to verse 17. Okay? And we're going to read it again. Zephaniah 1 and verse 14.
Zephaniah 1 and 14. Near is the great day of the Most High. Near and hearing greatly the noise of the day of the Most High. Let the mighty man then bitterly cry out.
So now we're just reading the same thing we read in Revelation. Keep going, read.
That day is a day of wrath, a day of distress and trouble, a day of waste and ruin, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds, dense clouds.
Okay, so you see that again. It's saying the same thing what we just read in Revelations, right? Now we know at this particular time that the Mashiach, or that master, has presented himself. But again, this is before he showed all these events are taking place. Keep going, read.
A day of ram's horn.
A day of what?
Ram's.
So a ram's horn is going to be blown. Will it be blown by the angels? Or will it be blown by men? That's the question. Read.
An alarm against the walled cities.
So hold on. I'm going to prove that this ram's horn or shofar is blown by man in Zion, which is televised today. Keep going, read.
A day of ram's horn and alarm against the walled cities and against the corner towers.
See that? So the towers is talking about Melo. Okay? And we know for at this particular time that the city or that walls were going to be rebuilt. Let's go to Joel 2 and 15. So again, when you look at Revelation and you look at Zephaniah, they're speaking on the same event. Okay? But they're going to paint a beautiful picture. And well, let's find out, should we be seeking the master's face now, or should we just sit in that captivity and wait till the Mashiach get here? Joel 2 and 15.
Blow a ram's horn in Zion.
So now we know for a fact, when we just read in Zephaniah 1 and verse 16, that ram's horn is being blown in Zion. We didn't know at first. But now we know that ram's horn is being blown in Jerusalem. Go ahead, read.
Kadosh, a fast.
Come on, have a separate fast, read.
Call an assembly.
Come on.
Gather the people. Kadosh, the assembly. Assemble the elders. Gather the children and those that nurse the breast.
So stop right there. Now, at this point, they're showing us feast days, Feast of Trumpets, Atonement is going to go into the Feast of Tabernacle. This is what we're reading right here. Okay? And so it says, blow the shofar in Zion, set a fast. That fast is talking about the Day of Atonement. Call a solemn assembly. Now, the key thing is that we're going to show you that this is, or not this particular verse, but this act has already started. That's what we're doing. For the last 4 years, we've been going, seeking the Most High face, and keeping the Day of Atonement right in Jerusalem. Now, let's continue to read. Read.
Let a bridegroom come out from his room.
So hold on. So now you see the people that fasting and they're asking the Hamashiach to come back. Wait a minute. I thought the people that was there already was there with the Hamashiach. But we see that they're praying, asking for the Hamashiach to return. They're praying, let me say it again. They're praying to the Most High, asking him to return the Hamashiach to them. That's clear, right? Read that again.
Let a bridegroom come out from his room.
Come on.
And a bride from her dressing room.
See that? Read.
Let the Kohanim, servants of the Most High, weep between the porch and the altar.
So now we see that there's the priest there. And it says, weep between the porch and the altar. And today, even now in its ruins, is it still there, y'all?
That's right.
It's still there.
Still there.
It's still there. Keep going, read.
And let them say, spare your people.
So hold on now. This is very detailed because most people think there's the people, and now we see that there's the people in the land, right? And they're praying for the Most High to return. And also there's a priesthood there. But the Mashiach, or King David, whoever you believe is coming, whether it's Jesus or David, hasn't returned yet. They're praying for him to return. But then it says, read that again.
And let them say, spare your people.
So hold on. Why would they be praying and asking the Most High to spare your people if the curses are gone? So you have the people praying to the Most High, spare your people. Why? Because we're still under the curses in the four corners of the earth. We're still being called niggas. We're still being locked up. We're still going through persecution. We're still separated. But yet, we're still in that captivity. But yet, you see a portion of the people that's in the land. Whether they're coming 3 times a year or whether we're staying. That's not clear at this point. But we do know there's a people that's in the land praying to the Most High, keeping the feast, keeping Torah on Day of Atonement, and they asking the Most High to release the curses from their people. That's very clear. Read.
And let them say.
Let them say what?
Spare your people.
Come on.
O Most High. And do not give your inheritance to reproach.
Wait a minute. So don't embarrass us. Don't give them your culture, your heritage to reproach against who?
For the Gentiles.
For the who?
For the Gentiles.
So hold on. We're still being ruled over the Gentiles. And also, keep in mind, the Gentiles are still in our land. But you still find a portion of the people there. So I thought we're not supposed to go into the land until the land has been cleansed. Where is that at in the scriptures? It's doctrines of men. It's religious doctrine, and it's not cultural, and it's not heritage. Every time our people went into the land, the land was polluted with our enemies. From Abraham, when he went into the land, it was polluted. Isaac went into the land, it was polluted with the nations and their evilness. Jacob went into the land, it was polluted with the evilness. Joshua, when he went into the land, David, when he was born into the land, it was still populated with wickedness from Gentiles. And as a matter of fact, from the time of Joshua until the time of David, it was almost 500 years before the kingdom was established. Not saying it's going to take it this time, but I'm saying that during that time, it took almost 500 years. But let's keep going. During the time of Deborah, during the time of Ruth, it was polluted. During the time of Judah Maccabees, what did he do? He went to Zion and he prayed for the Most High to release his people. And that's eventually what happened. But the land was polluted. And then also, let's get into the time of the Hamashiach, Yeshua. The land was polluted when he was born in. So now, that's culture and heritage that these people still sought the face of the Most High in Zion. So what, 2017, we are supposed to stop? That is not the statutes that the Most High established with our forefathers, David and Solomon in 2 Chronicles 7. But read that top again. I just want to say that. Read.
Verse 17. Let the priests, servants of the Most High, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare your people, O Most High, and do not give your inheritance to reproach, for the Gentiles to rule over them.
See that? So we're still being controlled by the Gentiles, but yet they're in the land praying, beseeching the Most High. Who's doing that now? It's happening. Keep going, read.
Why should they say among the peoples, where is their Elohim?
So hold on. While we're praying there, and while you see the people praying and the priests are there, they're like, yo, where's y'all God at? Y'all niggas still being locked up. The nation's still saying this. Where y'all? Look at them. They still praying, ain't nothing happening. You see? Because now we're so religious-fied, that's my new word I made up, that we believe that when the Mashiach comes, that it's going to be, and we're going to be in the land and all that. These brothers believe that. Now understanding that the gathering of Israel is already taking place. It's already taking place. But you will not understand it if you're not living or if you're not going over to the land to see what's going on. You won't understand it, especially if you're in the far west countries. You wouldn't understand. It's like me saying, I know what's going on in your city right now because I read the news. No, I don't know what's happening in your neighborhood or in your cities because I'm not there. I can understand the hurricanes and I can relate to the death of our people, but I don't know everything. I'm not there. I only can go by what was told to me or what I see on propaganda news. So my point what I'm making is that these people are in the land. They're there, they're praying, they're beseeching the Most High, and they're still under the curses by the Gentile. Finish up, read 18 again.
Verse 18. And let the Most High be jealous for his land and spare his people.
Why? Because at this time, there was a people who prayed, and this is the only way that the Most High is going to deliver our people. Read Joel 2. Joel is like a movie. When you start from verse 1, you know, in the movie you see the person gets shot, right? And then it goes rewind, and it shows you what happened from the beginning that led up to the part when he got shot. That's what Joel 2 is like. So we're going to go back up to Joel 2 in verse 1. And we'll read 1, 2, and 1 and 2. Go ahead, read it. Joel 2 and verse 1.
Joel 2 and 1.
Read.
Blow a ram's horn in Zion.
So now we already understand this. That shofar has been blown in Zion. Read.
And sound an alarm in my Kadosh mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble. For the day of the Most High is coming, for it is near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds, dense clouds like the morning's clouds spread over the mountains. A people many and strong, the like of whom has never been, nor shall there ever be again after them.
All right, beautiful. Now, let's move on. Let's go to Acts. Let's get a little bit more depth in this. When do we suppose to beseech the Most High? Should we beseech them after the blood moons, before the blood moons? When is this supposed to take place? Because the Most High says that we're supposed to know. You should know. I mean, it's in His Word. So let's look at this closely. Acts 2 and 16. Now, most people go by Acts 2 and 16. They say this was during the day of Pentecost. And partial it was. But there's something that they miss out of this. Although it was day of Pentecost, the Most High gave them a future prophecy within this. Right? Acts 2 and 16.
Acts 2:16.
So now we're going to prove that this is future prophecy, that this didn't happen yet. Because this is Paul writings. Acts, right? And in Paul writings are letters. And all the prophets got, if he wrote about something, he either got that from one of the prophets, he got it from one of the prophets that were in the past. There's nothing he made up on his own. So let's analyze Acts really in depth. Go ahead. Acts 2 and 16.
Acts 2, verse 16.
Read.
But this is what was spoken by Nabi Joel.
So hold on. So this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. You want to read another KJV? You prefer or you want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So now, see, he done this. He done give us a clue. He's quoting Joel. So we're going to have to go take a look at what Joel was saying and what Joel talking about during the time of Paul. Go ahead, read.
You know what? Let me read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 16. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days.
And when?
In the last days.
And when?
In the last days.
Okay. Not during the time of Paul and the Mashiach and them. In the last days. Go ahead, read.
Saith the Most High.
Says who?
The Most High.
Thus says the Most High. Read. Not free. Say in the last days. And he's quoting Joel. Read.
I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
So now a lot of brothers use this and said this was during the time of Pentecost. But I reckon it's not. Keep going, read.
And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy.
Read.
And your young men shall see visions. And your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out in those days of my spirit. And they shall prophesy.
Get your what?
And they shall prophesy.
Okay, come on.
And I will show wonders in heaven above.
In a what?
In heavens above.
So they're showing that now. Read.
And signs in the earth.
We're seeing that now. We see in the earth. You're seeing these holes. What do you call it? The little holes open up in the earth.
Sinkholes.
Sinkholes. You're seeing waters becoming like a turning. You see I mean, it's the earth is really bugging out these days. Go ahead, read.
And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath.
So hold on now. This is very detailed. This is a detailed scriptures, and we have to understand what's general scriptures and what's detailed. But in all, this what we're reading is the same thing we read in Revelation 6 and Zephaniah. It's the same thing. The same exact thing. Can't get away from that. Am I right? Am I wrong? That's up to you. But this is the same thing we've been reading the whole time. All of us talking about the same thing. Go ahead, read.
And signs in the earth beneath.
Come on.
Blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be burned into darkness. And the sun shall be turned into darkness.
Oh, wait a minute. We just read that in Revelation 6 and 12. That's spiritual prophecy. At the time it was written. Come on, read.
And the moon into blood.
We read that in Revelation 6 and 12. Read.
Before the great and notable day.
Before what?
Before the great and notable day.
Read it again. Before what?
Before that great and notable day of the Lord comes.
So hold on. So is not we have eclipse? Is not we have the moon turned into blood? Is not the Euphrates River is dry according to Revelation 6 that the veil should be open? Before. So now what is it saying? That there's a people there before the Hamashiach came praying. How did it get there? Did it take planes? We know the angels ain't brought them there now. I mean, like, you know, as people may think. We know that they ain't went one big old whole gathering. No, because the scripture tells us one of the families to the city. So we see it says the sun shall be turned unto darkness and the moon unto blood before the great and notable day of the Most High come. And when we read that in Revelation 6 and 13 or 14 talks about the day of the Most High coming. Right? Is that clear? Very clear. Keep going, read.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
So those are the people who shall stand, as we read in Revelation 12. Let's go to Zechariah 2, and let's read from verse 1.
Right?
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Before we go there, let's do this. Because I heard a lot of brothers. What's that? Grab out here. Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to grab another tonight. And if you want, we can get another witness from the Hallelujah Scriptures. Because they use the word nations, and we know the nations mean Gentile, but I hear brothers say, they make this saying, see, that's not referring to the children of Israel, or Bani Israel, but I'm going to show you and prove otherwise. I want to prove otherwise, because they use the word nation. And that understanding that we're amongst all the nations. Okay? Zephaniah 2 and 1. Let's find out, is he talking to us or is he talking to the Gentiles? Because brothers love to say, nah, you all, Zephaniah 2 and 1 is talking about the nations, not even talking about Israel. But there's some wording in there that would prove he's talking to Bani Israel amongst the nations and calling themselves Gentiles. Keep going. Zephaniah 2 and 1. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather, O nation, without shame.
Right. Keep going, read.
Before the day the decree is born.
So hold on, what is the decree? The blood moons, the eclipse, you know what I mean? These are the decrees that the Most High made. Keep on, read.
The day flies by like chaff.
Come on.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord overtakes you.
So hold on. So we know for a fact that this is talking about before the day of, what it said, the Lord. And before the day of the Lord is supposed to be blood moons and eclipse, according to what we just read. All these scriptures we just read are talking about the same scenario. That's very clear at this point. Can't get away from that. And also, we're going to go back, when we see that, we're going to go back and look at Joel. Go ahead, read it.
Before the day of anger of the Lord overtakes you.
So before, come on, read.
Seek the Lord.
Do what?
Seek the Lord.
So we're supposed to seek the Most High before the day He comes. We're supposed to seek Him in Zion. You're supposed to seek Him before the blood moon start, or during the blood moon start, because according to that He's going to come back prior or after the blood moons. Is that clear? That's kind of clear, right? Keep going, read.
All you humble of the land.
All you what?
Humble of the land.
So earlier we read, seek meekness. Come on, read.
Who have fulfilled His law.
Have fulfilled what? Don't use law. Has to fulfill what?
His Torah.
Has fulfilled Torah. So how can this be talking to Gentiles when He's talking to Bani Israel, who was given Torah and who was supposed to fulfill Torah? Seek Him. Come on, this is very clear. Read.
Seek righteousness.
Seek what?
Seek righteousness.
Read.
Seek humility.
Come on.
Perhaps you will find shelter.
Come on.
The day of the Lord's anger.
Oh, so perhaps you may be here. So now when people say that you can't run, there's no place to hide, according to the word of the Most High, there's a place for safety. There's a place for safety according to the word. So what are they talking about?
A hiding place.
That's right. They say, well, you can't run from what's going to happen. But according to the word, if I seek the Most High face, then He is going to hide me. And that's one of the 5 places that we spoke about earlier. So what are they talking about? See, this separates religion from understanding culture and heritage. It's a difference. That's His promise. So what I have to do, I have to go and seek His face in Zion to keep the feast, as we read in Joel, the Day of Atonement and all this, which is coming up. And He said, for that, His promise, He will hide you in the day of His anger. So I have to hold Him to that. He's going to hold me to do what on my end of the bargain. Makes sense, right? Keep going, read.
Verse 4. Indeed.
No, that's good. All right. So we're going to do 3 more scriptures, then I'm done. Let's go to Psalms 50 and 2.
Psalms 50 verse 2. From Zion.
From where?
From Zion.
Come on.
Perfect in beauty. God appeared. Let our God come and not fail to act.
Read.
Devouring fire preceded Him. It stormed around Him fiercely.
So you see that, now you see that the master is coming. Read.
He summoned the heavens above.
Come on.
And the earth for the trial of His people.
So hold on. So He called the witness, the heaven and earth to witness. Come on. Read.
Bring in my devotees.
Come on. Bring in His what?
In my devotees.
Mean though His chosen people. Read.
Who made a covenant with me.
Who made a what?
Made a covenant.
Who made a what?
Made a covenant.
Go ahead.
With me.
By what?
Over sacrifice.
Use the word. The word is zabak. And the word zabak, it tells you it's a slaughter. It doesn't say sacrifice. The word is zabak in Hebrew. So it says, those who made a covenant with me by what?
By slaughter.
By slaughter. This is talking about the feast. This is talking about the Pesach. You see? This is very easy. This is, all right, let's go to
Ezekiel 20 verse 32.
Read. Now, before we start, I want to show people that when they say we're going into the wilderness, and we don't connect that to what we just read in Psalms 50. The wilderness, we already started going into the wilderness. There are people that are already in the wilderness of Egypt already. And the wilderness Egypt is not in Upper Egypt, which is to us in the south. The wilderness Egypt is in Cairo. And what people don't know, because they're not seeing this, we're having our people being brought from West Africa and even the Americas and even Europe to Egypt. And the wilderness starts from Egypt all the way up to Dimona. And also in Jerusalem is part of that wilderness. You understand? Because it's all a desert. So what you're going to see is that the Most High's got to deal with that people face to face. And where's His face at? Zion. So people being brought into the wilderness already. That's happening. You got people that's come from Nigeria. You got people, Bantus that's come from, what else? They come from Nigeria.
East Africa, South
East Africa, South. They all come in. And I'll tell you this. If you've been in Egypt 3 years ago, in a place in there called Halasha, there was nothing but Sudanese there. Now you have nothing but black folks.
Ghanaians, Nigerians.
And they don't even, and they think they're being brought here for what? Work. For money. But the Most High is gathering them. But see, brothers don't understand this if you're in America. You won't understand that the Sudanese have been walking, of the Bantus, walked across into that desert to Israel 7-8 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? And some are being held in concentration camp. Those are Israelites. You don't understand it. You wouldn't see that. So of course you're going to think different on the scriptures because you're not in perspective looking at what's going on in the East. All right, let's get this.
Ezekiel 20:32.
Read.
And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone.
So this will come a point where you're going to know that you're Hebrews. You're going to know this. The Most High says this. Come on, read. He says it's not going to come into your mind that you're going to serve wood and stone. Those are the curses. Go ahead, read.
As I live, saith the Most High.
So he swore to himself. Read.
Surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
So he says that he's going to be king over you. He says, with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm with fury. That fury is not doing this in a nice way. That means there's going to be lots of killings. Read.
And I will bring you out from the people.
Come on.
And will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Read.
With a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm.
Read.
And with fury poured out.
With anger. He's pissed. Read.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people. And there will I plead with you face to face.
So he said he's going to bring you to the wilderness of the people. So we know for a fact that wilderness stretches from what is called the borders of Upper Egypt all the way to, some may say Dimona, but I believe, and I think we come to find out that is actually Jerusalem, Zion. Because in order to deal with you face to face, he's only dealing with you face to face when you come up to keep the feast. You see, he's only coming up to the feast. He's only presenting himself, or his face is only in Zion. His ears are attentive in that place day and night. And he says forever. Right? Go ahead, read.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
So how did he do that before? Throughout the tabernacle, as in the past. Right? He dealt with us in the same manner through the tabernacle. Come on, read.
So will I plead with you, saith the Most High.
Now, when you look into that word, it says he either vindicates you or he doesn't. That means when you come up, you're either going to be marked or sealed or you're not. Come on, read.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod.
What is the rod? Torah. I mean, I'm going to pass. You got to go keep Torah. Come on, read.
Grace is over.
What?
Grace is over.
Oh, yeah, grace is over by this time. So, and that was the thing. When Zion was revealed, it shows you that grace. Just about up. Come on, read.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
So how you going to bring me to what? He's going to bring us into the what?
The bond of the covenant.
Now, didn't we read in Psalm 50, said, call my people, those who made a covenant with me by slaughtering? Didn't he say that?
That's right.
He said, my people, those who made a covenant with me by slaughtering. And that doesn't mean you're slaughtering in your captivity. It's only be done in one place. But here, we see there's a precept to that. Read it again.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod.
Under Torah, read.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Come on.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Come on.
And them that transgress against me.
So those who don't keep Torah, are not keeping Torah, you got to go. Simple as that. You got to go. So at this point, it's very easy to see that there's a people there that's going to be there before the Mashiach. These people kept the people that the Most High has chosen are the people who kept Torah, the people who continue in the slaughtering as it is written. Right? And again, ask yourself at this point, is there people there? And I think you have your answer now. I mean by slaughter. And also we know that the priesthood is there at that particular time. You ever heard anybody tell you that the priests ain't gonna be slaughtering? There won't be no more slaughtering? You ever heard anybody say that?
Yeah, they do say that. Like,
They say that,
we're not gonna eat or slaughter animals anymore.
Right. Watch this. It's about to listen.
Yeah, I understand that. But will we still be consuming flesh?
Let's find out reading.
Well, it says that
What's
the
it?
acre shall be for the herd alive.
Yeah. See. In order, listen. If what we just read, call my people who have made a covenant with me by slaughtering, is it written that we're supposed to take and kill the animal and don't eat?
Yeah, but they use where it says the lion will
lay
eat.
down with the lamb.
Yes.
But yeah,
But it's just them.
yeah, right.
They won't be attacking. There won't be no
Right. That's just them.
predators.
It never said that you won't be eating no flesh.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's that's cats making that up. That's doctrine. That's cats making stuff up like the rapture. It never said that. You never read that. Malachi. You got it?
Right?
Yep. Okay, so now we see that the covenant been made, and that means at this point there's a covenant been made. People that came back into the covenant, and because now, as the Most High promised, people came back into the covenant. Now our people will start becoming brought into the land, as you read. That's why it says it'll be a day that you will not say of the wood and stone, because there's somebody. Long time ago, somebody went into that land, started the feast again. And that was the kickoff of what we're reading now. You see, before the sun and the blood, before, during that time. And we know for a fact, 4 years ago, that, or 3 years ago, we had blood moons back to back. 4 of them, twice in a year. Come on now, and since then, it seems like everything started acting very strange in the world. Let's keep going.
Malachi 3 verse 2.
Read.
But who may abide the day of his coming?
So we read that in the beginning of Scripture, Revelation 6 and 12. Who shall stand? I have to go to that because it's related. It's a piggyback. Let's find out on that day who's going to be there and stand. What's going to happen? Because there are scriptures that gets more detail of what is going to happen on that day. Read.
And who shall stand when he appeareth?
Come on, read.
For he is like a refiner's fire,
Read.
and like fuller's soap.
Come on.
And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi.
Meaning that he's going to separate the house of Zadok from the other priests. And you can find that in Ezekiel 42 and tell you why. But we're not going to go there. Read.
And purge them as gold and silver.
Read.
That they may offer unto the Most High an offering in righteousness.
Wait a minute, do what?
That they may offer unto the Most High an offering in righteousness.
Wow. Come on.
Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Most High, as in the days of old.
Oh. So when the Mashiach is returned, there would be slaughtering still going on. And also there would be sacrificial going on amongst the Levitical priesthood. There are a difference. The priesthood, sacrifice, people slaughter. Okay? So we see that. And according to the word of the Most High, for those who say there will not be no eating of the meat, if the Most High made a covenant with those, who slaughtered, right? That means they kept Torah, as we read earlier. That means the commandment wasn't to kill the lamb. Moses didn't give the commandment to kill the lamb and just throw it out. He made the commandment to kill the lamb and eat. And these people are doing that. And I guarantee you, they're putting the blood on the doorposts in their homes, because that's Torah. Not one jot and not one iota should no wise pass from Torah until heaven and earth passes. So we're going to go to Isaiah 65. We're going to end it here. And for those, we're going to show you why Zion is very important. Okay, and why is it, that you must come there? Those who have a heart to keep Torah, those who understand. Forget all these guys telling you I've been there for 30 years and this, and all these guys telling you to keep it. So you're gonna find a lot of people telling you that you can keep Torah in the land of the captivity, and it's a lie. It's deception.
Not if you want to get sealed, you can.
Right. So you can go ahead and keep it there, but it's not according to Torah. And I'm explaining why. You got to wash in Jerusalem. You have to be numbered between Melo and Zion, as your forefathers have, and as we've been reading, because this is what these people are doing. You see, you have to what else? You have to kill the lamb before the house, right? You have to kill the lamb before the house. I say that twice. Not in your backyard.
The lamb got to be whole. You can't break any bones.
Right. You can't
buy from Walmart, Kmart.
Right. So if you're doing all that, you already broke Torah. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? You have to keep Torah as it is. We're not keeping Torah in Jerusalem drinking out of styrofoam cups. You know what I mean? We're
drinking leavened wine.
Yeah, we're keeping Torah as it is written. All right? And believe me, when people say, well, you don't have the priesthood, right? Well, ask yourself this question. When Moses and Aaron gave the commandment to slaughter the lamb in Egypt, were there any priests? Yes. All right?
And it's a commandment forever to seek Zion, to go to Jerusalem. Just like it's a commandment not to eat pork. It's a commandment to go to Zion.
Right. Let's go, brother.
So, Isaiah 65, verse 9.
Come on.
I will bring forth offspring from Jacob, from Judah heirs to my mountains.
Mm-hmm.
My chosen ones shall take possession. My servants shall dwell thereon. Sharon shall be a pasture for flocks.
So that's one of the places that Bani Israel is going to be at. Read.
And the valley of Achor, a place for the cattle to lie down.
That's another place that Bani Israel is going to be at. That's 2 out of the 5 places. Read.
For my people who seek me.
For my people who do what?
For my people who seek me.
Didn't we read that earlier? Seek meekness. Seek the Most High face. Huh? Come on, read.
But as for you.
As for you, come on. This is you, meaning the other people who are not seeking the Most High face. Read.
Who forsake the Most High.
Wait a minute. Now, he said, who forsake the Most High. So how do you forsake the Most High? This is very detailed. Read.
Who ignore my holy mountain.
Who do what?
Who ignore my holy mountain.
No man seeketh Zion. Isn't that what the scripture says? So that means you ignore, you're telling people we don't got to go to Mount Zion. We don't have to keep the feast in Zion. We can keep it right here. You know, it's not that time yet. When the Most High says, seek my face speedily, seek me early. Keep going, read.
You ain't dealing with the Most High. What does forsake mean?
I mean, to turn.
Turning away, not dealing with. You ain't dealing with the Most High. You ain't seeking Zion.
Right.
That's how deep that is.
That's deep.
But as for you who forsake the Lord, who ignore my holy mountain, who set a table for luck, and fill a mixing bowl for destinies.
Meaning that number, that army that's coming, that's the army of the north that's coming. Come on, read.
I will destine you for the sword.
You do what?
I will destine you for the sword.
So hold on. When he said he destined you for the sword, that's not a good thing. I mean, he's going to put you to the sword because you turn away from Mount Zion. You turn people from Mount Zion. You telling people to keep the feasts and do everything else in the captivities, where Torah says not to.
Right, which is a transgression.
Keep going, read.
You will all kneel down to the slaughter.
Come on.
Because when I call.
When I what?
When I call.
When I call. Come on.
You did not answer.
Wait a minute. So now you remember when we were young, right? Now let's make sense of this. You guys remember we were young and we were probably in our rooms and Mom was upstairs. She called that name, freedom. I remember my mom used to say, freedom! And I'd be there, and I'd probably sometimes ignored it, depending if I was upset or not, or, sometimes just didn't hear her. But what would happen when your mother would come down there because you didn't come and see what she wanted? First thing you do is get the bop on your head, right? So when Moses called you to come to Zion and you don't come, what do you think you're going to get? Come on, read.
What's deep about this says, because when I called, he did not answer. So when did the Most High call him? When is he calling him? Right now.
Calling us now.
He's calling you
He's
right
calling
now.
us right now. Calling us to Mount Zion. Go ahead, read.
When I spoke, you would not listen.
Read.
You did what I hold evil.
Come on.
And chose.
And do what?
And chose what I do not want.
So what do you mean you chose that you don't want? And you chose, I mean you picked the place. Right. That goes into Deuteronomy 16 and 16. Moses chose Jerusalem to keep this feast, to eat there, to drink there. But these guys are telling you you can eat in your captivity. But the Moses says, I chose Jerusalem to eat there. I chose Mount Zion.
That's where I put my name.
That's where my name is at. But you guys are choosing to do things in your own particular captivities. Keep going, read.
Assuredly, thus saith the Most High, my servants shall eat.
My what?
My servants shall eat.
Come on. Now we know the servants, those are the ones we read in Psalm 50. Those who made a covenant through him by slaughtering. Read.
And you shall hunger. My servants shall drink.
Come on.
And you shall thirst.
Read.
My servant shall rejoice, and you shall be ashamed.
Read.
My servant shall shout in gladness, and you shall cry out in anguish.
Read.
Howling in heartbreak. You shall leave behind a name by which my chosen ones shall curse. So may the Most High slay you, but his servant shall be given a different name.
Why? Because in Matthew it tells you that you will be given a new name. I think it's Revelation. It says you'll be given a new name written on stone. That gets deep, but that's a whole other teaching. Okay? Keep going, that nobody knows but he himself, right? That's what the scripture says, right? So now you know where John got that from. He got it right here from Isaiah. Go ahead, read.
Verse 16. For whoever blesses himself in the land shall bless himself by the true power.
Wait a minute, now this gets deep now. Because it says whoever blesses himself in the land does what?
Shall bless himself by the true power.
So wait a minute, let's precept that real quick. Let's go back to Joel. Let's go back to Joel 2 and 15. How do you bless yourself? Watch this. Let me show you this. How do you bless yourself? So he says by you coming there that you're going to bless yourself, right? Let's get a detail. Let's get a little bit more detail. Joel 2 and 12.
Joel 2 verse 12. Therefore also now, saith the Most High, turn ye even to me with all your heart.
Come on.
And with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning.
See that? Same thing we've been reading the whole time. Meekness. This is very simple. Read.
And rend your heart and not your garment.
So rend your heart, not your garment. Meaning that your heart, it has to be on keeping Torah. Because this generation, Torah should be written on their heart. Meaning that they're not going to be like, nah, man, we don't have to go. You know, or they're going to try to get there. Or even they're going to say, you know, I'm not paying my rent. I'm going to Jerusalem. This might be the only time that I ever make it to go keep this feast. This is what these guys are doing. Keep going, read.
And turn unto the Most High your power.
Read.
For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and of great kindness. And repenteth him of the evil.
Come on, read.
Who knoweth if he will return and repent. And leave a blessing behind him.
Oh, wait a minute. Read that again. Because it just answered the question. See, these people going to come to Jerusalem and Zion keep the feast and they're going to leave and go back to the captivities. Because he says, who knows whether he will what?
Who knoweth if he will return and repent and leave a blessing behind him. Even a meat offering and a drink offering unto the Most High your power.
So that's talking about the tabernacles. You see what I'm saying? So this is telling you how you bless yourself by the Most High. And this, we just read it in Isaiah 60, Isaiah 65 And what verse? Read that again. Go right back to that verse. It's talking about the same thing. It shows you how you bless yourself in the earth. It tells you how you bless yourself in the earth. You have to do this in Jerusalem. We will not stress this as much. I know people get tired of us saying, oh, these Zion brothers, yo, we're going to keep teaching it.
Hey, if you want salvation, on your time.
Go ahead, I'll read that again.
Isaiah 65, verse 16.
Read.
For whoever blesses himself in the land shall bless himself by the true power.
Bless himself in the where? In the where?
For whoever blesses himself in the land.
Wait a minute. Is that talking about America?
For whoever blesses himself in the land.
Is that talking about the Caribbean islands?
For whoever blesses himself in the land.
Is that talking about Egypt?
For whoever blesses himself in the land.
Come on.
Shall bless himself by the true power.
Right. So now we know you have to come to Jerusalem. Last thing I'm going to get real quick is, watch this. Psalms 28, no, let's see, 29 and 5. Psalms 129 and 5. Read from the KJV, you know. Psalms 129 and 5. You're going to love this one.
Hey, what was that last verse we just read?
That was Isaiah 65 and 16, I believe.
Where it says, whoever blesses himself in the land.
Yeah.
That was 65, Isaiah 65?
Yeah, and then the precept to that was Joel. That's cold.
Joel what?
Cool. Because what it's telling you when you get your blessing is doing the tabernacle.
Right.
The bread, the wine is doing the tabernacle. That's when you do that. The point of what we did last year. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, that was crystal clear.
That was clear.
Psalms 129 and 5.
Read it.
That all who hate Zion.
All who what?
That all who hate Zion.
Read.
Fall back in disgrace.
So, I mean, if
Fall back, son.
so if you're right, if you hate Zion, fall back, turn around, turn back, keep it moving. Simple as that. And that's what we're going to leave you with. If you hate Zion, you want to go, keep it moving. Peace. Shalom. But the true peace, the true priest, will show up in Mount Zion, keep the feast as it is written. They will love Mount Zion. They would know that they're the children of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? These are the ones that will come. And the government won't be kicked off anywhere. The government of Yasharallah or Israel will only be started in Zion. Not America, not Canada, not Caribbeans, not Europe, not China. So if you call yourself, this is the government, no. The government has to show up in Zion. And they must keep the feast as it is written. Other than that, you're just a false pastor.
Where the true pastor's coming from?
Mount Zion. That's who got next. The true priest will show up in Mount Zion, nowhere else. So we like to say, well, bye to Allah, shalom, shalom. Thank you for tuning in. And again, the people will be there before the Mashiach return. That's good. That was easy, right?